Welcome to the No Name Music Cast. To follow us on Instagram, go to No Name Music Cast Podcast. To send us an email, it's nonamemusiccast@gmail.com. And to visit our website, go to nonamemusiccast.com. Now, on with the show. Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to the No Name Music Cast. My name's Tim, and this is
Joy.
And we're recording for you on a Friday night. This was just the best night. We're winding down. The weekend is here, and we're recording a new episode of the No Name Music Cast for you.
Yes, and with that being said, if you guys do not remember, Tim may have left me a dolly once when I moved, and it took a trip at my house for 6 months. We also have discovered that I may have a mic stand that has taken a trip at my house for 7 months now.
Well, you know, it needed a holiday, as they say.
It did. It's also, remember that time that someone stole Tim's rubbish bin, as he would say. It might just be hanging out with them. We need to do like the pictures of them at the Eiffel Tower together, hanging out. No, it's funny because we were talking about physical media, which is Tim's favorite form of media, if anybody didn't know. And it's leaded to me to talk about the fact that I realized I still had Tim's mic stand. Now, with that being said, it is Tim's episode. I do have 2 bits of music news. One, I forced Tim to watch something that was not related, but will be related when I get there. This one I just thought was interesting. So Madonna and Kylie Minogue have dropped a remix. It's called Love Sensation. I have not listened to it. Don't know how I feel about it yet because I haven't listened to it. But when I was doing the Googs, as you do before this episode, it is out there, Tim. So I think we're going to have to give it a listen before the next episode and give everybody our 401 because me and Tim both like Madonna and we both like Kylie Minogue.
Yeah, I mean, I like both those artists, but I really like those artists at the beginning point or midpoint of their career rather than their later career. But I don't know. Maybe it's a great song. I really don't know. I mean, I'm sure that they've probably crossed paths before now. But maybe it's just the first time that they've done a collaboration.
Apparently, they performed together recently, and it's the 2-star surprise fan with their performance of Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive. And then they did something with Can't Get You Out of My Head with Kylie Minogue, some type of version of that. I do find it interesting because, you know, I told you about the Sabrina Carpenter where they did the Like a Prayer recently. So Madonna's really trying to get out there and get her name back in some type of modern day artists. Not that Kylie is that modern, but, you know, it's not lost on me that she did that and now she's doing this. I will give it a listen. I will send it to Tim. We will give you guys an update. I only learned about it about 2 minutes before we started recording or me and Tim talking about missing microphones for 20 minutes and IT issues and work stuff and blah, blah. Now, I sent Tim, before we recorded, I sent Tim an artist, it's Florence and the Machine. The reason I sent him this is this piece of music news just popped up in my feed, and it reminded me of them. And you're going to be like, Joy, why? I'll explain in a minute. So, Lindsey Buckingham says he and Stevie Nicks are talking all the time now after the good old Fleetwood Mac fallout. So, for those who don't know, everybody in Fleetwood Mac dated each other, something, and then they all broke up, then they all got mad. The Rumors album was kind of like their breakup album, for lack of a better way of saying it. Rumors was their best album. I don't care what anybody says. Maybe not your personal best album, but commercially it was. So Buckingham says that looking back on the past has helped him move forward with his bandmates, particularly Stevie Nicks. They were all dating. I just want to stress that. I don't know if I said that specifically. Yeah. And the guitarist explained that he and the other iconic group members have found their collective work on executing, Tim, not executing. I don't know what executing is. Don't know why I said that. An upcoming Fleetwood Mac documentary. I didn't know they had a documentary coming up. That's been very circular healing to the process for all of us, which is the most generic way of saying we figured it out, but we're artists, so we have to say circular healing, Tim.
Well, of course, you know, they're all very free and they're hippies and stuff.
All right. Anyway, because we had left things in 2019, maybe as far as I was concerned, not in a very good place for all the wrong reasons. Once again, very generic. He continued referencing the band's rift a few years ago that led to him being temporarily fired from the lineup, which I think we might have even talked about at one point. But the funny part is he keeps talking about that from 2019, but that wasn't the first riff. The riff goes back to the 60s and the 70s, everybody. Apparently he got fired from the, did you know he got fired from the band?
Yeah, I mean, they're in, they're out, they're with each other, and they're not with each other, and there's drugs involved. It's all going on with Fleetwood Mac.
So anyway, with that being said, apparently they're speaking again and working on a documentary. Now, I'm excited. I'd love to see that. I love every documentary, as Tim knows. I will watch them all. I will listen to the audiobooks. Like, I am all about that life. So that's exciting for me. And I do think a Fleetwood Mac documentary would be great because there's been kind of a resurgence in people who really like Fleetwood Mac in the last few years. The reason, though, that I made Tim listen to Florence and the Machine is controversially, and someone will agree or disagree. Beards and Machine, the lead singer, has grown substantially. I made him listen to one of the original, what year would you say that was? 2010, Tim? You know more about them than I do when they were doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably 2007, 2008, something
Letterman.
like that. Yeah.
So it was when you said they were doing like artists were playing shows after Letterman would close and the artist would say, and that's what he thought this was. If you watch her now, she's fantastic. The lead singer of Florence and the Machine, I'm assuming her name's Florence. I have not Googled her enough to say that. Don't come for me, internet. I don't know. I'm claiming my willful ignorance on this one, Tim. I don't know if her name's Florence. I'm just assuming she's Florence. With that being said, she controversially has a lot of allure when you watch her in her modern day concert, where I think she has gravitated towards a very Stevie Nicks feel. I'm not saying she is Stevie Nicks, Tim, and I think that's very important to caveat because nobody's Stevie Nicks and nobody should be Stevie Nicks, right? We all are our own person. But when you watch her in her modern day concert series, she's grown substantially since you watched that whole thing, but she still sounded good then. But she has really taken on a very Stevie Nicks-esque thing. Like I was watching with Glastonbury and different things like Glastonbury, right? I said that right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not British, obviously.
Glastonbury, I think, is what you're looking for.
That one. I said it as the most American you could have ever said it. So it's very obvious Joy's not British. Somebody else was like, yeah, no, duh. With that being said, she it's just very interesting. If you've not heard of Florence and the Machine, I would say you probably live under a rock. I think even Tim had heard of them. Mm-hmm. And he lives under a rock.
Yeah, even I have heard of Florence and the Machine. I don't know any of their music, but I know the name.
So what did you think of the Letterman that I sent you then, Tim? That's the question.
It was fine. I mean, it didn't set my world on fire, but I mean, they seemed pretty competent in what they were doing. I mean, it makes me happy when I see that stage at the Ed Sullivan Theatre and the Letterman set, just because I like that program and I love Letterman. But
that's why I picked that one to send it to you to make you smile, even if you didn't like the music. But I would like to see it. So I say him a later, like 2 or 3 years later. Whatever he called that concert in England, that I'm not going to say Glastonbury is what he called it. That's what why do I say Glass? America. There's an L in there, so it makes sense what Tim is saying. Oh, Tim, tell them where your mother landed the other day.
Well, it was. I sent Joy a screenshot of where she currently was on a Google map, and it sounded like Candy. Joy's got this theory that every place in England sounds like Candy, and there was like 5 or 6 places on the map, and I just sent it to Joy because I thought she'd like it because they're all Candy adjacent names.
And Tim, now what I'm getting at is you do not need to tell the specifics, but you're seeing why it does look like Candy names. You're seeing it, aren't you?
I see where you're coming from with that. Yes.
Okay, so Glastonbury could be a candy.
It could be. I mean, I used to like that, like chocolate Glastonburys. They were delicious.
I mean, berry, like if it wasn't chocolate tip, if it was like a Glastonbury, what? I feel like it'd be like
chocolate-covered berries is a Glastonbury, made by the Glaston Candy Company.
I think that's fake. I think you're messing with me.
Not making it up.
Okay, but what would a Glastonbury taste like? Do you think it'd be like a blueberry, cherry? It'd probably be, what's that berry we don't have in America that you can drink?
Raspberry.
No, what's the one in
Oh,
England that you can get?
blackberry.
No, it's that berry you don't get in America.
Blackcurrant.
Yes, Glastonbury is chocolate covered black carrot currant, obviously, Tim. Which basically, when I tasted it, just kind of tastes like raspberry,
Yeah.
give or take. Mixed with like cough syrup. And that makes sense because I feel like I've heard people from England say they got it when they weren't feeling well.
Yeah, I could see that.
Am I wrong? Is it raspberry with cough syrup?
No, you're thinking of Lucasade is what people drink when they're not feeling well.
This is also kind of like a purpley kind of color.
No, Lucasade is gold.
Good.
It's like a goldy color. And it used to be in a glass
container. You shouldn't
container.
drink gold things when you're sick. I don't like that.
It was in a gold bottle with like a gold shrink wrap around the outside. You had to pull down with a screw cap. And it was like the same principle as Gatorade, but it was carbonated and it had a very distinct medicinal type taste about it.
Why did I say that? Like I'm like, oh my God, gold drinks. Like, we're not drinking stuff the color of windshield wiper fluid in America. Like, why did I say that? Like, that sounds disgusting. Like, I didn't have a Gatorade the other day that wasn't blue. You know what I mean? And not natural blue. All right. This podcast has started taking a turn. We have gotten distracted. Moral story is, I would be curious to see, we'll update you guys next week if Tim watches as the Florence and the Machine has moved on. I'd be curious to see if he sees the influences of Stevie Nicks that I do. That is it. That was I don't know how we got to drinking AIDS in Candyland. With that being said, it's Tim's topic, and this may be a wild episode based off of the way the opening is going.
Okay, well, I just had one piece of music news before I launch into my topic. So this week, Glenn Hughes, I don't know if you know who Glenn Hughes is. Glenn Hughes is the former Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, and Black Country Comedian, and in fact, Dead Daisies singer and bassist. He has announced his retirement from touring and live performance. He said, in this past year, I've had some health issues. I have the results from numerous MRIs, CT scans, and an echocardiogram. I've alerted my medical team I need another open heart surgery. I have no option and no choice as my health is the number one priority. Grateful to have been chosen with a life full of the gift of music. Thank you for walking beside me. So this is a guy who's been around for a long time. I mean, he's in his 70s. He's been playing with Joe Bonamassa in Black Country Communion. They've released a number of albums, even up till recently. He's one of these guys who's like, getting much older, but he always had a fantastic voice. His voice now is probably better than it was in the 70s. So it's incredibly sad that he has these health problems and he's going to have to step away from live performance and what have you.
Isn't that weird how that works, though? That like some musicians, like as they learn their craft and like really hone in on their voice, almost get better. But then you have this subset of like late singer the Zombies, where you hear them now and you're like, oh gosh. It's interesting how that works. It probably is a little bit of skill, like working, but sad to hear that. I know a very little. I've seen this person like written and talked about, but Tim, I'm not going to say that I've ever sought them out. But I'm glad they're taking their health as a priority, as they should.
Yeah, well, I'm pleased, but I mean, it's unlikely that we're going to see Glenn Hughes on a stage, certainly for the foreseeable future, or likely ever again, sadly. But I just wish him well. I hope everything that goes well with his heart surgery and what have you. And I don't know, maybe he can still record music or something along those sort of lines.
You never know. I mean, Fleetwood Mac said they never perform again together, Tim, and hell hasn't done the thing they said it was going to, but times change.
There we go. Okay. So here we are. We're in my topic.
We are.
Inspired by last week's topic, which was called Hyping It Up with Joy. This week, it's called Hyping It Up with Tim. So much like Joy went through her list of songs that get her hyped up, I've also gone through my sort of songs that I like and pulled out a number of songs that hype me up, if you will. Now, this isn't a completely exhaustive list. This is just some ones that I thought of while I was compiling it for the episode. But I think it will give you a good idea of where I am when I need to listen to these songs to get me in the right frame of mind for things.
And if anybody listened to last week's episode, they probably predicted this is going to be this week's episode.
Yeah, well, I think I actually said it on last week's episode, to be fair.
I said, Tim, you should do this. And you're like, got next week's episode.
There we go.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, so the first one, the song I've listened to multiple times when driving home, repeat listens, in fact. This would be by Rick Derringer. Now, that's not necessarily an artist that you'd be familiar with. However, the song you will definitely know, and it's Hulk Hogan's theme music, Real American.
And Tim has talked about this ad nauseum on this podcast. And it's so funny to me because if I were to imagine Tim in his little car driving down the road, this would be what I would see Tim listening to. And the funny part about Tim is Tim cracks me up because I'm used to have to drive home from the same place because we used to work together. And we lived within 5 minutes of each other at best at one point in our lives, right? Tim? Now it's more like 15 minutes, but it used to be 5 minutes. And so I would drive home behind Tim in his little car, or he would drive home with Joy. Now, Joy and Tim are very different drivers. Yeah. Joy's like, get out of my way. Tim's just like doing the speed limit. But the funny part is this is exactly what I would imagine you listening to in your car driving home. It fits so beautifully. I love that.
Well, I will also tell you that where this started is every 4th of July, I always would put up the music video for Real American on YouTube. And I was always disappointed with the fact that the quality of the one on YouTube was incredibly poor. It was taken up. It looked almost like it came off of a VHS tape. It was terrible. And I had Peacock at the time. Yeah. And in one of the episodes of Superstars of Wrestling, or actually, I think it was Primetime Wrestling, they debut and play the Real American video. So I capped it via a program I have on my computer called OBS off the streaming service, which you're probably not supposed to do, but whatever. So I did that. And then I took the audio. I have a CD copy of the audio. And then I joined the two together to find out that the U-matic tape that they were used to play the stuff into Peacock to capture it and make it digital has a 1% speed drift. So I had to use my video editing software and fix the 1% speed drift, synchronize the audio and the video. Now, at the very beginning of the video, there's a speech by JFK. You ask what you do for your country, what you can, all that business.
Yeah.
So it had terrible background noise on it. I fixed the background noise. I then put this on YouTube because I wanted to have it there for every 4th of July. But it was also my gift to the wrestling community that might want to view this because all the other versions were so incredibly poor. So I uploaded it to my Tim O'Sullivan Guitarist YouTube channel, which mostly, to be fair, just has videos of me playing in bands and stuff I've recorded and my Knight Rider tribute video and all that stuff.
COVID times.
Yeah. That video of Hulk Hogan Real American, the HD version, or HD as it comes, that I fixed on my computer, currently has 3.5 million views.
It's kind of like, weirdly enough, the most listened to podcast episode is ABBA Voyage, right, Tim? Still for our podcast. Yeah. We don't know why. It's just random. No idea. I mean, ABBA is amazing, but yeah. That's funny, though.
So all the videos I have on YouTube of me playing, the one that's not even my work. I mean, YouTube at one point never used to let you do that. You put anything copyrighted and get pulled. But now it just says you can't monetize it. So, 3.5 million views on my YouTube channel.
But that's the funniest thing about that is I have a very specific example I'm going to give. But that whole scenario of Tim going to the astronomical lengths that he did makes me laugh. I don't know why I had to laugh about you using OPI. And then you had to fix the timing and everything. I don't know. Very Tim-esque. With that being said, it's funny you say this, Tim, because I used to, and unfortunately, I took all of it down just for personal reasons. We don't need to get into it. If you know me personally, you know that I have a lot more going on in my life than I did probably 5 years ago. So, but my TikTok, I used to be monetized on TikTok, and I used to make money off of it and do a lot of stuff on there. I did it's called where you stitch a video, where you someone else put something and then you respond to it, right, Tim? You stitch it. I did one, and it was my most popular video. And it's Tim, I got 3.5 million views. And it was the dumbest thing ever. It was a German rap. And it's and it sounds exactly like you think a German rap would sing. And all I said, Tim, was, in response to me when I'm trying to remember my password that I just created, I worked so hard on so many other videos, right, Tim? And I got no views. But then I made one stupid comment about because it was like but I mean I hate to say this but sorry if we have German listeners but to Americans German is kind of hard to hear
Hmm.
and so it sounded like sounds and it was German rap and it was like these two guys kind of making fun of it and if I said it to Tim he would laugh because he would get it now but I was like I might actually get you to react when we're done Tim but all I did was like I stitched like 2 seconds. I said me when I can't remember me trying to remember that password that I just created 5 minutes ago because everybody who works in America right now knows you have to have 36 characters and a plus sign and a this and a that
Oh,
and
it's
you're
a whole
like
thing.
you have to reset it every 3 hours and so on and so forth. And Lord help you if you need an authenticator or Okta or something. So with that being said, I just that was it, Tim, and it was my most popular video. I think I made like $30 of a video of me saying 2 words. And I still was like, it wasn't even that funny. Like, it wasn't. It was just stupid. But that's then isn't it weird how that works though, Tim? Like you're like least amount of work you put into anything is what becomes popular.
Exactly. But as I said, that was my gift to the wrestling community. But anyhow, let's move on to the next one of my hype songs. Now, this is a song that we've spoken about before. This is probably my favorite song by this particular artist, Ms.
Okay.
Catherine Hudson, aka Katy Perry, and this is Waking Up in Vegas.
Which I love. Okay, I love this song. I like the entire album though that this is on. I do think this was quality Katy Perry.
Yeah, One of the Boys by far is her finest work. This is when it had a little bit more of a rocky edge to it before she went down the whole rap pop type thing. But yeah, when she was doing the Warp Tour type stuff and Coachella and things like that, and that she had more of a band orientated sound. And this is the era of Katy Perry. Like, I mean, I like what's it like Raw and some of the other stuff that she did straight after that. But when she gets into Prism, it's too dance orientated for me.
So I really like this album. And I mean, this album is quintessential what I remember because I graduated high school in 2008, which is when this album came out. And I Kissed a Girl was everywhere. I'm as Tim probably remembers in 2008. I think that was the Universal. Her first single was I Kissed a Girl, and it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. You couldn't turn on a radio, you couldn't see anything. Hot and Cold's a great song. Thinking of You is a beautiful song. Beautiful song. I still think about that song regularly. It's probably my favorite song on this album. I think it quintessentially was her in her like heightened like in that moment. Now I will say I did like a few of her later albums, Tim. There were a few that I think were really good. And I really liked I'm controversially, I even liked when she did like the Last Friday Night album recently. There's sometimes it feels like she goes back to her core and it's really good. But then sometimes it's like, what are we doing? I don't know how to explain it. It's hard. It's hard for me to explain that. Teenage Dream, though, I think was a great album too. I really liked it.
Teenage Dream is good too. As I said, Prism has some good stuff on it, but it starts going more into that sort of dance type realm. And anything after that, I don't quite have the same interest in it.
Because I liked now, this is a song. If you do not know what it is, please go listen to it. Don't listen to it with children in the room because you might have to be explaining. I love the song Peacock.
Yeah.
Which is on which one, Tim? Teenage Dream. Because it's a Teenage Dream album. I like Teenage Dream. I liked Last Friday Night. I liked California Girls. And that's the one that Firework is on. And then Peacock. I absolutely adore Peacock. The fact that she didn't make it a single, Tim, I thought was a missed choice. I think the reason she went with obviously California Girls, because like Snoop Dogg was on it, all that stuff. But Peacock, amazing. And that's about where I will say my Katy Perry, I kind of fell off her train there. Peacock was the last song that I was like, that's fantastic. And it is not, for those who don't understand what it is, go in it with an open mind, but it is pop, but it's also kind of like, and I think Tim would agree with you, Katy kind of has, if you watch when she's like in her early tours, she kind of had like a humor comedy essence to her. And that's what Peacock was playing into.
Yeah, I mean, she's cheeky. I mean,
that's what it is. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, that's it. I've only ever heard about 2 Taylor Swift songs in my life, but it seems pretty much straight down pop music, and it's some of the lyrics that I've heard seem to be kind of whiny. Whereas Whereas Katy Perry, she's kind of cheeky.
Well, and her concerts like have like a lot of fun elements and whimsical and like these things. I find it weird she's now dating Justin Trudeau. Don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, who used to be the Prime Minister of Canada.
So that's weird.
And then
random,
see, I thought
know.
she only liked British men because she was married to Russell Brand,
And
and then
Orlando
she was with Orlando Bloom, and she has a daughter with Orlando Bloom. But obviously, she's broadened her horizons to Canadian men now.
Well, when you go to space, Tim, it really opens you up to the world.
There you go. That's what. Oh yeah, as I should say, astronaut Katy Perry.
When she spent 30 seconds in space and came back changed.
Well, I mean, she crossed the Kármán line, so by NASA standards, she is an astronaut because she crossed the Kármán line. If you cross the Kármán line, you see the blackness of space, you see the curvature of the Earth, and you experience microgravity. On paper, you're an astronaut. Now, there is 43 seconds of it or whatever, but yes, she was an astronaut.
I will say, though, as much as I do like some of her older music and she did make the whole astronaut thing a little weird.
She did.
She made it weird. I don't even know how to judge that. But with that being said, I do like I said, those are all. I mean, I like Katy Perry. Even my mother actually talked about liking, some of her music in the early aughts and like being like, I kind of really like this stuff. This is really good. And she wasn't someone who was zoned into pop music. She knew like what the right elements were.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, what's our next one, Tim?
Okay, so I've got a whole list here, so I'm going to jump around, but this is one I really like.
Okay.
Now, this is Frankie Goes to Hollywood and the song Relax. Now, the original version of this song is really, really good, and I really like Relax, and I've liked it ever since it first came out. It's got such a good pumping feel about it. But the version that I like is a version called the New York Mix. Now, it's much the same as the original, apart from it takes almost the entire song to get going, and it's 7 minutes long. It's like the opening of Relax before the vocal kicks in for a lot longer. And the reason I like it is, one, it's a really good build. It's a really, really good build. But secondly, it features prominently in a Miami Vice episode. And as I may have said on the last episode, or as I told Joy this evening, I am currently rewatching all the seasons of Miami Vice, and I actually just purchased the second season DVD set because I didn't have a good quality copy of it, and I'm currently ingesting it into my media server. But the episode that it features in is really good. It's really a song of the era, and it's got that real kind of boom, 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 boom. It's such a good song.
Anything Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Charles, my husband, is obsessed with Tim. Every Frankie Goes to Hollywood song, as we've talked about, he loves us. Now, I will say I have to be an adult when I talk about this song because I can't take it seriously. Take that for what it will. If you guys need to go Google the lyrics, go Google the lyrics. With that being said, Tim just looked at me and said, Joy, shut up. With that being said, every one of Frankie Goes to Hollywood is on repeat in my house all the time, including the New York mix. Like, I've heard all of it. Weirdly enough, Charlie is obsessed with this kind of like, I don't even know. Is it like new wave pop sound? What is it, Tim? What's the genre? I don't even know how to explain that 80s kind of new wave British.
It's just sound? It's like 80s dance pop, really.
It really is. But there's a very specific sound. They are English, right? I didn't make that up.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Holly Johnson. They are famously a British band.
Okay, but I've said stuff like that before, and you've been like, Joy, that's not true. So I have to make sure that I'm saying it's that like new age synth kind of 80s, and honestly, it's a lot of the British kind of bands that were popular. Now, they controversially are one of those bands that I think became popular in the early 90s in America because of MTV. And it just sounds really cool. If you've never heard it, the way they play with the sounds and the back and forth and the synth, and I don't even know. It's just a really good song, Tim. So I'm very happy. Also, you've got their members of the LGBTQ community, and we have like Boy George, George Michael, Freddie Mercury, all those were coming out at those time, and that was a very heightened time for them. So Love it. Great song. And for those who don't know Frankie Goes to Hollywood, I would highly suggest you go give it a goog because you're missing a core piece of a lot of people's life.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Good
Okay.
choice though for a hype song, Tim.
Yeah, it really is a good song. Okay, well, let's move on to the next one. So this is a song we've spoken about many times before, an artist we've spoken about many times before, but I had to put this on because I've often played this in my car driving home too, because, I've got that whole thing where you press the button and then Spotify play anything you say. This is our friends from Australia, the Beards, and the song You Should Consider Having Sex with a Bearded Man.
Which is probably, if I were going to pick, besides, actually, Tim, all of these are so on brand for you. If I were going to you know what, we should make the next few down the line, like a month from now, Tim, we should make what we think each other's hype songs are. And I feel like this is all falling very in brand for you. And for those who've not listened to our podcast and don't know what the Beards are, Tim will tell you, just go look at them now. That would be his advice because he loves them. He really does.
Yeah, and as I'm just clicking through the Spotify, which is where I built this playlist for this episode, I've noticed they've recently uploaded the music videos to Spotify because the Spotify now has music videos. Now, obviously, YouTube has all the music videos, but I prefer playing them on Spotify because they're the official artist versions in best quality. But they do have the music video for You Should Consider Having Sex with a Bearded Man. I would say watch it. It is a more or less shot-for-shot remake of a Prodigy song, but it is really, really good. It has a twist at the end.
I love it. All right, well, that's our advice, Tim. What else are we doing to get hyped around here?
Okay, so one other song that I also love, and in fact, I hyped myself up at breakfast the other day with it because I thought I really need to start my day with this. This would be from this album of the same name, Cliff Richard and Wired for Sound.
Oh, of course it is. So question, Tim. I feel like you are and maybe I imagine this. You eat the same thing for breakfast every day, right? Did I imagine you told me this?
I mean, mostly I have those bran things, bran wheat things, more or less every day. I sometimes mix it up with Cocoa Pops or Cocoa Krispies or whatever they're called. And I occasionally have toast, and then sometimes Hannah will buy me English muffins occasionally, but mostly almost the same thing.
I will say, if I picture Tim, I always think you're eating Weetabix or toast. Those are like what I feel. But are you actually eating Weetabix, or am I just stereotyping you as someone from England?
I have had Weetabix.
I mean, but is it really that different than bran? I don't feel like it is. You just have to break it up with your spoon.
Yeah, it goes. The problem with Weetabix is it goes soggy.
Quicker than Americans with the extras, probably chemicals.
Exactly.
Touche. See, I'm not a cereal fan, Tim. This has nothing to do with Cliff Richard, but Cliff Richard does put his sandwich on a coffee cup, and I'm not forgetting him for that. And that's a debate for another time. But I'm not a cereal eater in the morning, Tim. I'm just not. I will never be a cereal eater. I want to be. It seems convenient, but I just can't do it.
Well, yeah, some people don't like that. As I said, I couldn't eat toast every morning. I'll have it once occasionally. But yeah, I have my cereal, normally my bran wheat things.
I eat sometimes just regular food for breakfast. Controversial, scandalous, I know. But like this morning, I had a Nutella Uncrustable, which is just bread with Nutella that you take out of your freezer and drive to work with because you were too lazy to make breakfast, and a cheese stick.
Yeah, I mean, the Nutella thing, or Nutella, as I would say, is breakfast adjacent, but I don't know about a cheese stick. That's not breakfast for me.
I ate the Nutella. See, Charlie, controversially, is someone who thinks you need breakfast foods for breakfast.
Yeah, me too.
Anti.
Yeah, because Hannah, it's like I'll come home late from a jam or a practice or something, and I haven't had any tea. The tea being the food you eat at 6, 7 o'clock. And then Hannah will say, "Why don't you have some cereal?" And I say to her, "That's a breakfast. That isn't a food."
But see, you know that the concept of breakfast was an actual marketing ploy because they had a bunch of We're going to be here all week. I actually have a theory on this. No, I don't have a theory. This is actually scientifically true. So, like breakfast, I know you're not eating them, Tim, because you're a vegetarian, but breakfast meats and things of breakfast food like eggs and stuff like that. What happened was probably during World War II or whatever, there was an overstock of like bacon and sausage. And so they remarketed them as breakfast foods. And that's where our concept of breakfast foods come from. I, on the other hand, will be the person who may have made too much pasta salad the night before and will eat pasta salad for breakfast. I refuse to be defined by these breakfast chambers. And if I want to eat pasta salad at 9 a.m., I'm eating pasta salad. But this is something that Charlie controversially refuses.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Y'all are stuck in the shambles of society and capitalism. Run on by the Kellogg. What are those people? Kellogg. The Kellogg people, Charlie Kellogg. The Kellogg people of society have got you and Charlie stuck in the shambles.
There you go. What are you going to do?
Break out of your chains, Tim. Eat a sandwich for breakfast tomorrow. I don't know. It's not that serious. It's never been that serious. But I will eat anything for breakfast, and I do not care.
There we are. Well, that's an interesting fun fact for our No Name Music Cast listeners.
Did you know that, Tim, that like the concept of breakfast was actually comes out of World War II, and they were using them to sell foods that they had too much of?
Yeah, I could see that.
What do you mean? Everything in our life is capitalism? Shocker. All right. Well, with that hot take, what's your next hype song?
Okay. From the album Knee Deep in the Hoopla, this would be Starship, previously known as Jefferson Starship or Jefferson Airplane, depending what era you're into. And this is the song We Built This City, which, as we know, is a scathing attack on their record company.
And also the world's worst song, according to insert everybody besides us.
According to Virgin Radio, it's the worst song in the world ever. No, it's a fabulous song, and it should be enjoyed all the time.
I don't even understand where it comes from. Because what it is first of all, you've got Grace Slick, which is like one of the best singers of all time, right, Tim? Mm-hmm. But like controversially, it really doesn't sound that different than any other of the music that was being put out this time. I don't even know why. I don't understand where this concept come from besides someone's personal hate.
Yeah. But Marconi did play the Mamba, Listen to the Radio. We built this city on rock and roll. Yeah.
I have heard that. But I just don't understand. I guess I'll never understand. It just feels like someone's personal triad that got built on and taken from. And, when we're talking about world's worst songs, why are we bringing Starship, Jefferson Starship, whatever genre you're in, right, Tim, into this when Nickelback exists? And that's all I have to say about that.
There we are. And I would just say to that, also on my list from the album All the Right Reasons, that would be Rockstar by Nickelback.
We're not going to talk about that. I need you to move along. I refuse to accept this conversation. I have Nickelback PTSD and I refuse. So the funny part about Rockstar, I will talk about it for 30 seconds, is my senior year of high school, I'm pretty sure Rockstar on our literal, now this is very American because I don't even know did you guys have yearbooks? Is it only an American thing?
It's a US thing. They may have them now, but when I went to school, no, that was not a thing.
For those who are not in America or like, what's a yearbook? Because we do have a lot of listeners, and Tim will tell you outside of America. It's just like a book where they took everybody's picture, and then they had pictures of clubs, and at the end of the year, everybody signs it. Well, there's a lot of this, like, what was the best song, and what did the senior class like for this, and who was the most popular, or who was the most photogenic. It's all popularity context wrapped into weird America because, like, why is the school promoting this? We don't know. Bad society, but anyway. With that being said, I remember my senior year. I remember opening my senior year, and I feel like I need to physically get it out and take a picture so Tim could put it on the Instagram, where we had these, like, the senior class picked. Now, Joy did not pick these things. She was only one vote. We voted on the number one song. It was Rockstar. Number one drink, Tim, Mountain Dew.
Of course.
And I can't remember the rest of it, but it was just about as Southwest Virginia as that as you could get. And it was depressing. So maybe I just have PTSD because, like, of course it was. Anyway, with that being said, we're going to move along because I still think about the time though. What country was it where they flicked nickels at Nickelback?
I
Was Do you not remember that? It was like in Southern America, there was a country where they flicked nickels at Nickelback. Well,
because they were giving them their nickel back.
There was a country that like took it seriously because they didn't want them to be at their thing, and they actually flicked nickels at them, Tim.
Crikey.
But as much as I don't like Nickelback, I do not think you should flick nickels at them. Just leave the concert.
Exactly.
Go get a burger or something. You'll be fine. All right, what's next, Tim?
Okay, this next song is from the Smokey and the Bandit soundtrack. This is Jerry Reed, and this is a song Eastbound and Down. Now, I will tell you that if you listen to this in your car when it opens with that banjo figure, your car will accelerate heavily of its own accord.
Because they're loaded up in trucking and they're going to do what no man can be done.
Exactly. Got a long way to go and a short time to get there. Eastbound, watch old bandit run.
So here's a question. Is this a universal thing or is this very American that anyone in Southwest Virginia knows? Keep your foot on the pedal, son, never mind them brakes. Like, we all know the lyrics of this song, Tim.
I would say it's one of those pieces of US pop culture which certainly made its way into England in a big way. Like the 18 is bigger in the UK than it ever was in the US. Knight Rider continues to be a big influence of David Hasselhoff in the UK. Yeah. But like Smokey and the Bandit in the 70s and the 80s was incredibly popular. And as I said, it was at the foot, and CB culture. It was, I wouldn't say it launched CB culture in the UK, but it's certainly that and the film Convoy really sort of put it in front and center. But probably even to this day, people of probably not younger people, but people of my age or slightly younger would be very familiar with Smokey and the Bandit. And as I've said many times before, I remember watching that at home on videos. We didn't have many films that were recorded off the TV, but we had a few. And Smokey and the Bandit were one of them. And also every school holiday, weekends, blah, blah, blah. I remember watching Smokey and the Bandit and loving it. Always wanting a Trans Am, and I still want a Trans Am. I prefer to have an 82 than a 77, but I always wanted a Trans Am. And I never thought when I was watching Smokey and the Bandit when I was younger that one day I'd be living in the set, because it was all filmed in Georgia. They never actually filmed it in Texarkana, Texas. It's all filmed in Georgia, which basically looks like round here. I just never knew that one day I'd be living in the set.
To be fair, though, Tim, it does say the boys are thirsty in Atlanta before it talks about Texarkana, which is in Georgia.
Yeah, because the plot of the film is it's a bet by Big and Little Enos Burdett that they can go from Texarkana, from Atlanta to Texarkana and back in 28 hours to collect this Coors beer, because Coors beer was not sold in Atlanta at the time. And that's the whole premise of the film. And Burt Reynolds is driving the black Trans Am, and that's a blocker for the rig driven by the snowman. The snowman has the beer, but he's a blocker car. So, like, if they get trouble with the police because he's doing 95 miles an hour, the Trans Am comes blasting through to distract the cops.
I mean, my father trained truck drivers. I literally spent 2 summers on the road with him. I'm very familiar with this. And then Convoy's a whole nother one that I'm very familiar with as well. Both have great soundtracks, too, to be honest with you. So, with that being said, I'm not surprised, and it's a good one, Tim. I mean, eastbound and down, loading up a truck in. They're going to do what no one said can't be done. We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm just eastbound down. Just watch Old Bandit run. I can't imagine listening to that and not having a smile on my face.
Yeah, well, as I said, if you play it in your car, your accelerator will actually go to the floor.
I mean, to be fair, you could probably use that. Now, in America right now, you have to be careful because they're inserting cameras all over our interstates. But you should probably, if you get pulled over, Tim, I think if you explain that to a cop, you'd be like, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, they'll let you off. It'll be fine.
This is not legal advice. Do not listen to me or Tim. We are not lawyers and or cops and or judges. Thank you. We're not going to get sued for that one, Tim. All right. How much time do we have and how many songs do you want to talk about?
We have about another 15 minutes. We've got some more songs that we can do.
I don't keep up with any of this. Tim does all the actual work. Joy's just here and she pays the $15 bill and shows up. That's what happens on this podcast. Tim takes notes. He does all the editing. I'm just the comedic relief. Some of us have to be a pretty face, Tim.
There we are.
All right, what's next?
Okay, so this is from the album Gold. Obviously, great name for an album. This is Chaz and Dave and the song Rabbit. Now, I know you're familiar with Chaz and Dave because we did the Unknown in the USA episode.
And I would not have expected this episode to come out without Tim giving Rabbit because he has talked about extensively on this podcast how much he likes it. No, but for real, and that was my favorite song. And it is a song that is very hopping, i.e. like a rabbit, which sounds stupid, but it's true.
Yeah, you've got more rabbit than Sainsbury's, it says famously. It's time you got it off your chest. You're just the kind of girl that broke my heart in two. But how did I know you'd bend my ear rolls too? With your excessive talking, you're becoming a pest. Rabbit, 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 rabbit.
And it really feels like you're jumping. Well, the thing about it is if you guys have never heard Chaz and Dave as Americans, I will say it is definitely worth going listening to. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, it's Rockney. It's a combination of rock and Cockney music.
Which I didn't know Cockney had his own music. I just thought that was an accent till Tim told me otherwise.
It does. Cockney does have its own music, and it's called Chaz and Dave.
So is there any other artists that do Cockney music?
Probably. Joe Brown, maybe. It's sort of a music hall skiffle mashup.
I mean, all I hear is Jerry from the Spice Girls. She used to kind of speak with a Cockney accent sometimes. Now she speaks very Americanized and doesn't look anything like herself from the 90s. But that's a debate for another time.
There we go.
She's definitely not wearing a Union Jack dress anymore. She kind of become like into this cottagecore Tim, like very like flowy, almost like, I don't know. Jerry has changed. But, as adults grow, that happens.
We do. I'm still wearing the same Levi jeans I wore when I was 19 years old. But, people grow.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I have any clothes that I have too many clothes, as my husband will tell you, and I have even more shoes, and I have more bags. I'm just a bad example. And Tim will wear the same shoes that he's been wearing for the last Tim. Charlie will wear the same shoes he's been wearing for the last 20 plus years, and they complain that they have a hole in them. I'm like, just buy a new pair. Why would I? Okay, then shut up. Like, that's how I feel about this, Tim. I will buy a new pair like it's 5 minutes from now. I don't know, Tim, as a man, how do you feel about this? Are you one of those people who holds out stuff forever?
I have a strict wardrobe rotation where
of course you do.
If stuff starts to look a bit bad or it's shrunk a bit in the wash, I will throw it away. Well, actually, no, I won't throw it away. I donate it to a charity shop.
See, I have a problem where I don't want to get rid of anything, but I also want to buy things. So therefore, I have too many things. And Charlie just feels weird about buying things. I don't know. Something weird there. He'll be like, my shoe has a hole in it. Okay. You have money, go buy a new one. We're like, no offense, guys. I don't mean this to sound like I'm not the richest person in the world, but generally, Tim, if I need to go buy a new pair of shoes, I can go buy the new pair of shoes. It's not something I have to kind of hold off for. But for some reason, and I've heard of other men doing this, Charlie just doesn't want to.
Well, this is what happened. A number of years ago with gig money, I refreshed my entire wardrobe because my wardrobe needed refreshing. So I refreshed it and I got it to the point where we don't have a big house. I have limited wardrobe space. So I filled my wardrobe with the clothes I wanted. I then decided that was my optimum amount of clothes for work, for recreation, for whatever, smart life. Going out. I've got a full complement of the clothes that I'm going to need. And now I have a strict one in, one out policy. So if I go through my wardrobe and I put on a T-shirt and it has a hole in it, or it shrunk a bit, or it just the neck got stretched and it doesn't look good, it goes in the bag to be donated or thrown away if it's terrible. I mean, I'm not donating stuff that's awful, but, decent stuff will get donated. And then I have a room for one more piece of clothing in my wardrobe. And now that's what I do.
I would love to do that, Tim, but I am bad at it. Now, I will say, controversially, I refuse to buy fast fashion thing right now, where everything I buy has I've been seeking out thrift store finds, and I'm looking for high-end quality pieces that I can wear to work that are actually quality.
Mm-hmm.
I won't buy Walmart, Target, or anything like that clothes anymore because I have a personal beef with fast fashion and it ending up in landfills and people just buying it to buy it, right? That's a whole different debate. It's not for our podcast. But I wish that I could say that every time I bought something, I threw something out. If it were up to Charlie, Tim, especially when it comes to the shoes, I have a problem with the shoes. I wanted to buy a pair the other day, and Charlie looked at me and went, only if you throw out two. I did throw out two, but it was hard. I had to part with them, Tim. All right, this is not a fashion podcast. I don't even know how we got here. Nothing to do with Chas for Days or Rabbit.
Okay, well, let's move on to another song. So this is an artist we may have mentioned on this podcast. It's around the same era as the Reynolds Girls, but it's not the Reynolds Girls, obviously.
Okay.
It's from the album FLM, and this is a song by Mel and Kim called Showing Out, Get Fresh at the Weekend. Are you familiar with that song?
Are they the ones who disappeared?
No, that's the Reynolds Girls.
Oh, it was the one Reynolds. I don't know if I know this song, Tim. You said Showing Out for the Weekend?
Showing Out, Get Fresh at the Weekend by Mel and Kim. Now, Mel and Kim were a pop duo. They released one album, which had a lot of singles on there, Respectable being their first single. And then, sadly, they were sisters. And Mel Appleby, the Mel of Mel and Kim, she died of cancer very young, incredibly sad. And then her sister, Kim Appleby, had a solo career sometime after the fact.
Huh. I'm not sure it rings any. I don't know. It feels like one of those songs that if I heard it, Tim, I'd be like, yeah, I've heard that. But it doesn't ring any particular bells. But Showing Out and Getting Fresh for the Weekend sounds like something that gets most people hyped,
Yeah.
I see what's in your throat.
Yeah, it's a good song. I would check that song out if you can on whichever streaming world that you're connected to. But I highly recommend it.
We'll give it a goog after the episode. We'll give it a goog. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't ring any particular bells, but it's also one of those songs that's probably been on pop-up music video, and I just don't recognize it by name.
Probably. I don't think they were that big here. Certainly, I recently repurchased their album on CD. I had a record copy from when it first came out. They did a CD reissue, and I did pay through the nose a little bit for it. Not as much as I paid for my Knight Rider CD that I have here, but I did pay through the nose for it a little bit because I wanted a CD copy of it.
Yeah.
But it suggests that they weren't necessarily as mainstream here as they were in the UK.
Interesting. All right. Well, what's your next song, Tim?
Well, this is a combo, both from the Night Rocker album by music superstar David Hasselhoff. We have the combo of First Night Together or the song No Way to Be in Love, both from Night Rocker, both absolute rock classics.
I mean, I don't feel like any hype thing would be complete without you bringing this up, Tim. It had to happen. I mean, he's your favorite. He really is. Which is so funny because when I think of David Hasselhoff, Tim, you know what is the first thing that comes to mind? And it's so stupid. It's so different than... By the way, I'm wearing a SpongeBob t-shirt, everybody.
Yeah, I can tell you I've never, ever seen SpongeBob.
That's so depressing. You didn't even watch the David Hasselhoff scene, Tim?
No.
All right, I'm going to have to make him watch the David Hasselhoff scene because it's important. But by the way, it is kind of funny because I literally am wearing a SpongeBob t-shirt as we're recording. That's all I think of, and I know that's so dumb. Well, and Baywatch. I think of Baywatch.
Well, I said I didn't watch Baywatch at the time. Obviously, young men around my age were watching Baywatch, obviously. It was a time I didn't really watch any... I don't watch any TV now, but I certainly didn't watch TV in that era. Hannah and I tried to watch Baywatch. We bought the season 1 DVD set of Baywatch, and I know it gets better from season 2 onwards, but we watched it and we were like, this is terrible. I don't know if I want to watch it. And we actually stopped watching it.
I don't know if I ever actually watched it, Tim, or if I just know what it is by pop culture reference. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure I ever watched it, but I know Pam Anderson and David Hasselhoff were in Baywatch. Not that I ever watched it.
Yeah, it's like attractive people in swimwear running along the beach with music playing and slow motion and stuff.
All right, Tim, in the chat, I just put a little picture of David Hasselhoff and multiple scenes from him from SpongeBob. And I want to know what your thoughts are.
I've seen those pictures before, but I didn't know that's what it was from.
It looks really weird now that I look at it. I don't know how to feel about it. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, very, very.
It's awkward.
Yeah, as I said, SpongeBob was nothing I've ever seen.
That's so depressing. So, for those who do not know, Joy's favorite cartoon in the entire world is SpongeBob. She quotes it on a regular day basis, and that's depressing to me. The other one is I'm a Snorlax lover for Pokemon. I don't know what to do with this podcast, but Joy is a SpongeBob aficionado.
There we are.
So I can't see David Hasselhoff without thinking about and it was a stupid, ridiculous scene. But to be fair, how could you put David Hasselhoff in a SpongeBob movie and not make it ridiculous, Tim?
But I think he is Michael Knight.
That doesn't mean he's not ridiculous.
That's very true, but he is Michael Knight.
Only you, Tim, would think that's not ridiculous. All right. What's your next song?
Okay, probably got time for a couple more. So I do love this song by Philip Oakey and Giorgio Moroder from the film of the same name. This is Together in Electric Dreams.
I do know this song. Oh, I know this movie, and Tim may have made my husband watch this one time. What a weird movie, though. The song's great, though.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about the film, some of it was filmed in San Francisco. The bulk of the interiors were filmed in Twickenham, in Twickenham Film Studios, which is like 2 minutes away from where I used to work in Twickenham.
I mean, that's random. I always think about, Tim, how many opportunities in life you had when you used to live in England to like see all this cool stuff that you didn't do.
100%. Thing is, you're in it all day, every day, and it just, I don't know. When you're miles away from it, you go, oh, it'd be great to go to the Alan Partridge Linton Travel Tavern. Oh, it'd be great to go to, I don't know, where they filmed this, that, the other, but it's too late.
I mean, that's true of anybody, though, who's ever lived anywhere where you have like when I was like, when we lived in Florida when I was a kid, everybody's like, were you on the beach every day? No. It was there, but we weren't there. You know what I mean? It was just there. You're just living your daily life, and that is what it is. But when you say that, I'm like, oh, Tim, another thing you could have went and seen. Absolutely.
Well, equally, I live near Claytor Lake and Smith Mountain Lake, and I've never been on a boat on either of them, mostly because I can't swim and I don't like boats.
But have you ever been to Claytor Lake?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not on the water, but I've seen it.
So you've never been to the beach area?
I've never been to where?
Like the little beach area where people go swimming.
No.
I'm sorry, what?
Joy, I have not been this conversation came up at work the other day. I have not been swimming either in the sea or a swimming pool for at least 25 years.
What? So many questions about this. I go to Claytor Lake multiple times every summer. So for those who don't know, me and Tim live right near a man-made lake. It's called Claytor Lake. It's not Crater Lake. It's Claytor. I don't know why it's called that, but anyway. And there's a little beach area. It's a sandy beach, and then people go swimming in it. It's a man-made lake. People take boats out. It's just very common. It's Mid-Mountain Lake's not that far, and so on and so forth. We're on the other side of Virginia, so we're not close. We could drive to Virginia Beach, and Tim probably has before, but that's not a day drive. But literally, so I am in Radford. Tim's in Christiansburg. For me, it's about a 15-minute drive. For Tim, it was probably like 20, 25-minute drive to get to Claytor Lake. It is a staple in our area. I go at least once, twice, 3 times every summer. And I don't know how to feel about that. Do you just not like swimming?
I'm not confident I could swim. I mean, if you threw me in a swimming pool, I probably wouldn't drown. I never really enjoyed swimming as a kid that much. But it's nothing I want to do recreationally.
See, I, on the other hand, am from a family of people who love swimming. Like we used to, I was born in Florida. We would go to Florida every summer. We would go somewhere, Sim, that involved swimming. Like, and I probably was being thrown in the ocean at like 3 years old. Like my father, I was never taught to swim. I was taught, throw them in the ocean, they'll figure it out. I watch people around me. And that's how I learned to swim. My father also was, in the military and did a lot of stuff. So that's probably just his mentality. But see, I was a water baby. I've always been a water baby. We love swimming. Every event we could. And so every year for my birthday, at least, if not more than that, my family at least goes to one water. Usually it's Claytor Lake. Like this past year on my birthday in July, we went to Claytor Lake, right? And we've rented a boat. We've done that. My father, worked on boats. So for me, this is mind-boggling because it's literally right there, Tim. It's right there.
The last time I was in a swimming pool was in Ayia Napa in Cyprus in 2001, I think.
Cyprus, the country?
Yeah.
That's very specific.
Because I'm trying to think the last time I got in a swimming pool, and that was probably the last time.
I don't know how to feel about this.
I mean, like the Christiansburg Aquatic Center is literally walking distance from my house, which is a Olympic-sized competition swimming pool and a splash pool and this.
Which I went twice this year already.
Yeah, I've been in that place to use the gym, but I have no interest in ever getting in the pool. I just wouldn't like it.
Well, they have a really nice on a subset of this. Anybody who lives near us who cares, because this is a very small minute thing that no one cares about. In that area, the aquatic surgeon, they have a little heated area that's like only like a square that's like separate of like the main pool and just like heated water, and it's really nice. And you might like that. I don't know, Tim. I don't know how to process that as someone who is a water person.
Yeah, I also don't own a pair of shorts, but maybe that's a story for another time.
I'm sorry, what? I live every summer in shorts. I can't do this, Tim. I don't as soon as I get home from work, I have to go into shorts. It's hot out there.
Yeah, I don't own a pair. I don't have a pair to my name.
Which is funny because isn't it like in England, like the British English first family, what are they called? The royal family, first family, British family, something. Don't the boys wear shorts till they're like 10 or something?
Probably.
Did you know that, Tim? There's like a thing where like they're not allowed to wear
It's a
pants.
thing where they go to private schools and they all wear shorts. It's a thing.
Which is weird because it's cold. It's England. Why are we
the
forcing
British step off a lip,
wear...
Joy. That's what it is.
That seems stupid to me. Sorry. Seems like no 5-year-old should have to be cold for insert whatever stupid traditional. Okay, well, I'm going to insult someone. I don't believe in traditionalism if it makes someone suffer. What's next? We got off on a tangent.
So on those two bombshells, I'm going to close out with one song which will please Joy immensely. Now, I didn't put this song on the list because it would please Joy. It's just that this is one of these songs that I would put on as a hype song.
Okay.
This is from the album Spice. This is the Spice Girls, and Who Do You Think You Are?
Which is amazing, and Tim has talked to it's one of his favorites, and it is definitely a disco song. It's also really good, and if you've never seen the music video, highly suggest you go watch it, because it's a really fun music video, too.
Yeah, the music video is available on the Spotify.
They're in a desert. I don't know what desert. And they're, I guess... doing like a futuristic look, Tim. Is that what you would say it is?
I think so.
It's just cool. It's just cool. If you've never seen it, go watch it. It's my favorite. I could listen to this song every day for the rest of my life. You know what's funny is you said something earlier about somebody being named Mel. I remember when you said that, Tim.
Mel and Kim.
And it was, yeah. Well, you got Mel B, MLC, and the Spice Girls. And what's weird is Mel seems to be a much more popular. I mean, I guess it's Melanie, right? Most of them are Melanie. Melanie's not a very popular name in the U.S., so you don't have a lot of Mels. But when we talk about England, I feel like there's a lot more Mels.
I think that's correct. There's a lot of Melanies.
Yeah. Melanie seems to be a name that didn't quite transcend across the ocean.
It's also like Gemma. That is very much a British UK name.
I don't think I've ever known a Gemma. Do they go by Jim? Jim? Like J-E?
Some do, or probably mostly Gemma.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there any more you can think of, Tim, before is there any other names you feel like you heard a lot more when you were in England than you're here now?
Nothing that I can think of. I didn't do an exhaustive linguistic study, but they're the ones that come to mind.
How did you not know this, Tim? You have all that time from not swimming. You should have been looking and not going to those concerts in England. You should have been looking up. I'm sure there's plenty of them. With that being said, I also think that England really likes nicknames. Like Emma from the Spice Girls was Emily. Mm-hmm. A lot of Emilys in America don't go by Emma. That seems to be more of a England thing.
I think you're probably correct with that.
Tim has told us if you're in a band in England, you had to have a nickname. Insert all the weird nicknames he said on this podcast. With that being said, how would you like to leave the people?
Just be kind to everyone that you meet.
I agree. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
To remind me of another day to